Today's video is going to start off with a quote from Jesse Livermore. First, do not be invested in the market all the time. There are many times when I have been completely in cash, especially when I was unsure of the direction of the market and waiting for a confirmation of the next move. Second, it is the change in the major trend that hurts most speculators. That was said by Jesse Livermore. More on that later. The greed has increased now to extreme greed on the Fear and Greed Index for cryptocurrencies. There's no change on the CNN business one because the markets aren't open. We are moving closer and closer to the alt season on the alt season index. And we are moving closer and closer, as per normal, to the Bitcoin halving. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is David Thorne. As you can see, I make lots of videos about lots of different topics, but currently I'm making videos all about the Bitcoin price, and I'm basically analyzing the price based upon my own investments, my own portfolio, the portfolio from my wife and myself. And so what I'm going to try and say to you right now is I am not a financial advisor, right? I am literally just a guy sat in front of a monitor talking to a microphone, talking about whether the price of Bitcoin is going to go up or down, left or right, inside or out, relative to my money, my investments. So any losses are mine, any gains are mine as well. So if you do want to get into the market, remember you need to do your due diligence as well. And why did I talk about Jesse Livermore here? Well, Jesse Livermore has some other rules for trading, and it was about not listening to other people's opinions about the market's trend and changes and so on. So with that said, you should listen to what I've got to say just to understand what my thoughts are, but ultimately you should make your own thoughts about the markets. So if you are new to my videos and you want to go back and see the history of what I've said and how I've talked about the different changes over the past, maybe couple of weeks now, then feel free to go and check out those things. Because sometimes I've been right, sometimes I've been wrong, but this is the whole point of this Bitcoin price analysis. It's all about learning, it's all about coping with the changes, all about kind of predicting what the Bitcoin price is doing and what the master is doing, because the market is the master and we need to follow it, all right? Because we cannot change the market. We cannot, as mere mortals, cannot manipulate the market of what is economics. Now, Bitcoin runs based on sentiment and momentum. So we need to find out what is the sentiment and what direction is the momentum going right now. And the reason for the Jesse Livermore quote is because right now we don't know what direction this market is going. It could go up, it could go down, and it could continue on sideways. So until we've got any form of confirmation, we really shouldn't be speculating, because we could speculate right now based upon the daily chart that this zooms to the top, right? But there's just as much conviction in this to go down as well. So yes, it's making higher lows at the moment, but it's not really making very big highs. So the buying power isn't really that strong to make higher highs. So we could say that the selling pressure is forcing the price down, but the selling pressure isn't that high either. So at one point, when one of these entities runs out, right, which way is the market going to go? Because if there's no more buyers anymore for the people that are selling, then there's only one place it can go, and that can go down, and it will go down fast. Right now, we seem to have a collection of people all agreeing upon that the price of Bitcoin is, say, between 60,000 and 66,000. They're happy to pay that price for it. So yes, you know, there is a 10% premium on the price from down here, but as far as they're concerned, it sounds like that they're happy to have an average price of, say, 60 to 65,000 euros. Now, the question is when their sentiment changed to say no, they only want to pay 45,000 for it now, and no one starts buying on these big numbers and the price drops all the way down, or no one wants to sell until the price is 85,000. This is something that we will only know when it actually happens. So don't speculate before it. This is what is called gambling, and we're not here to gamble. Well, you might be here to gamble, but I'm definitely not here to gamble. So let's just go now and start with the normal price analysis videos. So sit back, put your feet up, get yourself a coffee beforehand, and let's just jump straight in. So as per normal, we'll start on the weekly charts, and as you can see here, we've got still a downward motion chart, or a candle, but it's getting a little bit weaker and weaker for the selling side of it. It could possibly go green today. It could. It's got until like 1 o'clock in the morning, Central European time. So there is enough here. It is possible to make this go green. It is possible, but we shouldn't hold our hopes up too high. So moving then down to the daily chart, as we've already shown in the beginning on the intro, we are still very much going sideways, and I would predict that this is going to make a range up until, say, the 20th, or at least the halving. I can't see any of these big investors getting into the market right now, or moving the market before the halving, because we know that the price could just snap back down again on the halving if people decide this is not the right thing. Now, another thing that you've really got to understand is that the big investors, and when I say the big investors, I'm talking about these guys, the ones that run the likes of the S&P 500, the ones that run Wall Street or the London stock market and so on. These people are the ones that make the big moves, the hedge fund managers, the investment bankers, the people we're talking about hundreds of millions at a time when they make a trade. These are the people that can move the market, right? So if these are the people that can move the market, what they tend to do is that, because they have all of the numbers, they have many people working for them, very clever people working for them, working out what is the possibility of these things happening based upon actual facts, actual numbers of people wanting to buy things, trades between customer A, merchant B, and so on. And so they know all of these things. They know where the money is flowing. And this is what it's all about. Economics is all about the in and outflow of money, and how many buyers there are, how many sellers there are, what price are they wanting to buy. Me and you, us buying even $1,000 or 1,000 euros or 10,000 euros worth of Bitcoin in one go is literally like dropping a grain of sand in the ocean. It doesn't do anything whatsoever. If you are the likes of the moon that has the gravity that can make the waves, that is more like talking about these companies. You know, the moon on planet Earth, it can't change what we're doing, but what it can do is it can change the direction of the waves, all right? But it can't manipulate anything else. So this is what you've got to understand, is when is the cycle changing, and when are we going to see the sentiment changing? You know, at the moment the sentiment is not bullish and it's not bearish. It's just either is it accumulate or is it distributes. So this is the key thing that you've got to understand, is are they distributing or are they accumulating? Now, let's go back to the beginning here, right? Let's go really back. Let's get rid of this. Let's go back to the beginning, because I like this. It's well worth doing on a Sunday. And let's go back to the beginning. Right down here, we know that was the bottom, right? It's Sunday the 11th, and so just roughly around about December 2022 or January as well. We see this was the bottom, and some sentiment change down here. Look on the days here. Let's zoom in. We can see that it went sideways, it went up again, it went down again, and we've got these huge amounts of small candles all the time, and going all the way from the 20th of December until the 8th of January. And really, prior to the 10th of January, so from the 9th of January all the way back down to the 21st of December, everyone was like, it's going sideways here. And then we saw this a little bit of momentum going up, right? And then we saw this red candle coming back down again, and that could have just been following this pattern. But then on Tuesday, the 10th of January, we see this candle. And now we can see now it's nearly filled this red candle on the left-hand side here. But what changed on this one day? Okay, there was the ETFs, and there were probably many other things, but the sentiment changed on that one day. And Jesse Livermore is basically saying is that this candle was not enough to do something. This candle was not enough to do something. This candle was definitely starting to be enough, because it's now closed. It's broken this one supply zone, right? And it's closed outside of it, and now it's got momentum. So we now know the what way the market trend is going. However, we don't have confirmation. And the Jesse Livermore, if you ever listen and talk about him, he's not someone to get in at the bottom and get in at the top. He says that's for speculators. So even here, this is now confirmation. It hasn't gone down, right? It went back up again. So this is confirmation that it can do it again. So really, you could have got in down here, but you would have been speculating, you would have been gambling, you would have been taking a higher risk, because it could have gone up and down all that time. And as he said here, there are many times when I have been completely in cash, especially when I was unsure of the direction of the market. And so down here, this might be the bottom, but you only know it's the bottom when you can see the top, right? But if you're here, you don't know that this is the bottom. You could have said this is the bottom, and then this is the breakout here. You see, you could have been going, okay, fine, we're breaking out again here, and then boom, the sentiment is just a fake out, and it goes back down again. And then we come across and then we see it again. This could have just been another fake out. So really, until it broke this previous like high, let's call it, right? Until it broke that, we could say that it was just a fake out. And it did come to this. Look, it did come to this. It broke it. It looked like it went up again, and then it faked it out coming down again. So you really don't know. This here really would have been a place to get in, because it's come back down to another support zone, a well-known support zone here. And after you see this come back up again, this is real confirmation here that was a supply zone and that the momentum is going back up again. So really, what I'm trying to say here is that it's all about timing the market. It's all about timing it and working out what the trend is, what direction is the master going, and the master is the trends. The trend is the market. So right now, we obviously do know that the market is going up, right? We're all agreed upon that, and we've seen where the bottom is. The bottom is all the way down there, and we don't know whether this is the top. Now, there's a high likelihood this will go back up again, and this is going to break through, but just like in the bottom, I'm not going to go there. Just like in the bottom, we can't know that this is going up any higher until we see a breakout above this. All right. Now that could just be once again a trick, because it could just be bringing the price back down again, and then back up, and then come down again. So this could be a huge fake out up here to bring the price back down again for people like the hedge fund managers, the investment bankers, the people like Jesse Livermore who worked out how to manipulate the market, because he worked out how people work, basically. So the likelihood is that this could come up, and if the right signals come, then we could see it just break down to the low to make a fake out at the top. So this is something that we've really got to be careful of. So if you are going to invest, which I don't suggest you do right now, then if it does break out above this line, wait for it to come back and properly test this line. And when I'm saying properly test this line, look, when the price gets a correction going all the way down, this is where my indicator comes in handy, all right? Because we can see here that blue is not lots of volume, okay, and you don't tend to get lots of volume on a daily basis, but you see that the green is lots of volume. Blue is more than normal volume, and the light green candle like that is really low volume, and so is the red one here. Now this grey one shows that it's got a little bit more volume than this green one, all right. And this blue one's got more volume than this one here, and then the green one's got more volume than the blue. And it works the other way around with the red. The red then goes to this maroon color. Maroon goes to purple here, and purple then goes to red. Okay, so that's the different amounts of volume. And Jesse Livermore in his rules only talked about getting into a market where there's lots of volume and lots of activity. And so when you start seeing these light red or green candles and sideways movement, one, you don't know the trend, you don't know which direction it's going to go, so you're going to be speculating, and two, there's no one playing in the market. So only get into the market if it's easy to get in and you can see which way the price is going. It's difficult to get into a market that's going sideways and you just don't know how to time the market. So right now we agree that the price is going up, but for us to be in 100% agreement, scientific method, we have to see the price break through this 67,467.86, right? We have to see it break through and close on a daily basis, right? If anything, we want to see it break through on a weekly basis here, okay? And then we want to see it come back and turn this resistance, because at the moment, this is resistance. This is selling pressure going down, okay? So we want to see that the sentiment of the sellers here changes to be buyers, and we want them to be strong buyers. We don't want to see the price come out and then come back down again once, and then come up like this and then down again and up like this and up like this and up like this, because this will just show that the buying pressure has weakened, and in the end this will just snap back down again. So that's not what we want. What we want is we want to see the price come up, make this real parabolic move going up, come back down again, test this zone, and for here it could just come up and down a little bit here like this, and it could come up down like this, and then it then comes up to this resistance level, this new resistance level, and what we want to see here is that it break through and it start once again. Now the likelihood is it's going to make a smaller high here, or this could have been the small one and this could have been the big move here. So we really need to expect the move to come break out, right? So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that if I had to make my own rules up here based upon the next, say, 21 days, then we are talking about the 7th, so we are going to talk about to the 28th, all right? So let's draw a line at the 28th to say that I'm basing, what are my rules here up until the 28th. My rules are saying right now that I'm expecting the market to go upwards, all right? And I really am, you know, this is what I'm going with the market, and I'm saying, okay, I'm not going to disagree with it. So if that is going to be the case, I want to see, like I just said, I want to see the price push through this 67,500, let's call it, relatively easy, but I want to see it come back and I want to see it test this area. Now this could have come back and do, say, like a 38% correction or 50, but really I'd like to see it come back and do a 68% correction based upon this one move. But I then want to see it to do small movements. I want to see it move up gradually, because this downwards drop might be quite fast. So I want to see all of the imbalances in here. So what would we call an imbalance? Well, this candle wick here, right? This candle wick here, for me, this is an imbalance in price. So how can we balance this price? Well, balancing it would be coming down like this, and then coming up again, and then down like this, and basically all the zones here, right? All the zones that it's come through, it's gone up and down, it's gone up and down, and it's played this whole zone completely. Whoops, this whole zone completely. And that even then, once it's done this, it would come back up again, up again, up again. These are all micro movements, up again. And this has completely filled that whole area. So it's balanced, completely balanced the order book there. Because we know that there's the liquidity has been shared out evenly, everyone else, and everyone has been agreed upon what the price was there. But this was a strong move, this green candle here and blue candle here, and then it just zips back down again. So we know there is humongous amounts of liquidity stuck in this area. So it's got to come back down and rebalance that market there. So do I believe that it can come up? Do I believe that the market makers, the hedge fund managers, the people that own all of the ETFs, do I believe that they can let the price go up here right now? No, because they need to get this liquidity out down here, and there's no retail traders. There's not enough retail traders in at the moment to even come near this. Why do I say that? Well, I'm guessing here, but you can see that look, that the retail traders, they're all here. They're all buying up these crap coins here, because these are cheap, and they've got lots of gains at the moment. Look, it's 2,800% gains here and 495% gains. They're all here. And you know, some of the other more stable coins that you could use are more around here with smaller gains. Yes, Bitcoin's got 49% gain, but right now there isn't any alt season, but the people are like, why do I want to get into Bitcoin when the price of Bitcoin is like 60,000 and there's a likelihood I'm going to lose $30,000 of my money or whatever? So I can appreciate this, but the price needs to really come back down here first of all. Yeah, I keep saying it, and I am going to continue to keep saying it, but that's my contrarian hat on. Now let's take my contrarian hat off again, and let's just go with the market. So we want to see, more than likely, this is now on a daily chart. We need to see a strong candle coming through this, breaking through this. If it just comes to tomorrow, and this just makes like a pathetic candle, and this makes a pathetic candle, well, we've got another resistance zone here that it's got to break through. And if it can't break through this, it will come down here and probably test it again. If it does test it again like this, then we should either expect, if the sellers run out here, this is the key thing, if there's a consistent amount of buyers here, so let's just say the number of buyers don't change and their sentiment doesn't change here, and they're buying at a slow or a consistent slow rate, and then suddenly the sellers run out, then we know that the price will jump to here because no one's selling there anymore. Now, if the sellers run out there, we'll start seeing people going, wait a minute, the price has moved now, and we'll see the buyers coming in harder. And so the price could jump to here, but then the sellers who didn't sell here, they could jump in as well, and even more people buying are going to jump in because they've seen it to go there. So now you've maybe got like 10x the amount of people buying, and now you've got all the people shorting the market, because there's a lot of people shorting the market as well who are buying it as well. Let's say there's 10x people there. So this is going to make a balance in price up here. But if you're selling, someone's got to be buying. If you're buying, someone's got to be selling. So who is selling their Bitcoin here, first of all, and who is buying are the questions that I'm asking. Because if these people at the top are selling the same quantity, this huge amount of Bitcoin, like these green candles, then someone else has got to be buying it up. Someone's selling it, someone's going to be buying up, someone buying it, someone's got to be... So is this just the hedge fund managers or the ETF people just literally buying and selling it to each other with the hope that some retail people will come out, and that over time that their transactions, they don't need to sell back to each other again? So where is the other money coming from right now? This is my question. We understand that there's 10 ETFs, but where's the other money? You know, there's only a couple of Michael Saylors, there's only a couple of El Salvadors, there's only a couple of big people that are buying Bitcoin up on a daily basis. But you need other sources. So my question is who are the people that are going to push this through, and where's the sentiment coming from? Is it coming from that Bitcoin is going to the moon? Well, that's not enough. We've heard that story already, and we're still sat here after 20 days approximately. So what we need to be looking out for this next movement. So this is why it's really of no relevance today to look down at the smaller market, because we're probably going to say the same as yesterday. All right, we're probably going to say that there's a range and this, that, and the other. And I did that video yesterday, and I went through the different ranges, and the story really didn't change. It's just going to try and test this range up here and come test this range here. So if you want me to delve deep into that, go and watch yesterday's video, because that really talks about this range area. It's not worth really going into it too much. But to jump down into, say, the 4-hour market, 4-hour time frame, sorry, we can still see the same picture on the daily, but we know that it's got to break through 66,193. And it's the price first of all, though, before it goes through down 66,193, is it's got to push through this resistance zone. So over the course of today, if it can't push through this zone here, I mean, there's not many 4-hour candles left today. Let's go all the way up to here. Let's see, Monday at 2 o'clock in the morning. It has to. Let's just draw that line again. It's got to push through at some point here. Now, if we're going to say that Asia is the one that's going to do this movement, so let's come to say 10 o'clock in the morning here. If we're going to say that Asia is going to do it between, let's be fair and give them, okay, 2 o'clock. We're going to say that the bulk of the move is going to happen between 2 o'clock in the morning European time and 10 o'clock in the morning European time. So now we need to, as in Europe and America or whatever, we have to set up the play for them. So these candles have got to come along and it's got to break. Europe has got to be able to break this one zone, and with the helping of Western the world, let's call it, it's got to come and break this for then Asia and Australia to be able to break through here. Now, obviously, London wakes up and Europe wakes up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. So with the help of London and Germany and other countries and Holland, they could break through this 66,193. And that could give them the momentum to come and break through this zone. Now, I don't believe that there's a lot of resistance here at this level, right? I would believe that if there's momentum here, there'll definitely be some selling here, right? So we'll definitely see some retracement down to this one zone. But the questions are: is there the momentum from the stock markets, from the big players that can push this price through? But this was what I would be. This is the zone here that we need to be concentrating on today. All right, is between 66,139 and then 64,900. Let's say, if this zone cannot be breached, and without a correction, all right, so it's got to come through the tiniest of moves back and then boom through again, and then it can have a correction in this zone. So this is like the breathing zone here. This is like the half-time pause, but it can't come here. It cannot come here. It's got to have strength to push through, because if it comes back down here, we know there's selling there, so there's likelihood it will come back down again. So it's really got to come all the way through, but not like in one candle. One candle, it's going to come back down. It needs to come up, come down, come up again, but not touch this zone again. It needs to just float and then come back up and come here. But it needs a good correction in here. So it needs, in my opinion, to come through a little bit and then spurt out and then get new highs. So this is my thoughts. Now, let's just have a quick think about the opposite of this. Let's move this down, and there's actually two opposites of it. Let's just say that it comes to this 64,293, and there's too much selling pressure. Then we would expect it to come down and test this bottom zone here, and then if it comes and tests this zone down here, with Europe and with London, then we could expect it to come and retest this zone here during the daytime. Now, if that's not the case, and let's just say that it keeps making like lower highs around here, we'd expect it to come about here and then push down even further and retest this. Now, this could be this motion here, all right, and if this is this motion, that it comes and tests here, tests here, tests here, and tests here, that if the selling pressure, if the selling pressure runs out here, so this is lots of force, lots of force, lots of force, but the buy-in is still there. Now, if the selling runs out and people are still buying, we'll see prices come up higher and higher very, very quickly, because the sellers have run out. And so it could mean that the only sellers that are available are up here again. This could be the gigantic move up. Now, let's say that the sellers have not run out and that there actually becomes more sellers as it gets here, and there's less people buying, that would mean that the sentiment has changed now. So I would assume that some buyers would come in here, say 59.9, but if there weren't buyers there enough to hold this one power, then I would guess it's coming straight down to 48.5. Done. And I would say that if we see this motion here, making always lower highs all the time, then we are coming down to 48.5. Piece of cake. All right. So this is basically my understanding for. The third one. Sorry. So that's the downward motion. The third one is what's the most obvious in my opinion. Let's just get rid of some of these lines. The third one is what's most obvious is going to happen, and it's going to be this. That's it. That's basically it. It's just going to go sideways. It's going to go sideways until the halving, and I don't think that's how it's going to do this movement, but it's just going to go up and down, up and down, up and down, and stay within inside of this 60 to 66,000. It might come up and touch 67,000, but if it doesn't have any conviction to make any highs, if no one is there going, I want to push the price up any higher, if these big players are like, no, we're going to keep the price here for as long as possible until we've bought up as much as possible or we've sold as much as possible, then the price is going to be manipulated to keep it here. With that said, if you do want to use my trading indicator, all right, then all you got to do is come to the Pine editor down here, and it won't have anything in it, and it'll have add to chart button here. Next, you come over to GitHub, so github.com/David Thorne /Pine-scripts as written here, and then there's DJ Thorne Trading Indicators.Pine script here. All you do is come and copy this here, all right? And I haven't updated it since last week. And then come and paste it in here, then add to charts. So I think today, has been a good day to talk about what the candles mean. And there's the 5, the 8, the 15, the 50, the 200, the 300 EMAs there as well. And there's the Bollinger Bands just there in the back. I don't really use the Bollinger Bands too much, because we've got the RSI signals here as well for saying when it's overbought and oversold. Okay, and as you can see here, oversold signal and overbought signal, oversold signal here. So it's more telling you to buy here and sell here. That's why it's red and green. And then you've got these nice pivot points as well, just to give you that rather than you having to look at what the price is here, it's just telling you what came at the pivot points, etc., etc. So if you do want to use it, then it's free, and I'm all about not having to pay for subscriptions if you don't need to pay for them. I mean, I already pay enough money for all of the Bundesliga, watching the football, and then watching all sorts of stuff. So why should I have to pay a company when we have open source anyway? So with that said, please remember that I do this for free, and I'm doing it for you, and I'm doing it for me as well. Please just do me a favour, give me a like. It's all just giving that little bit of a dopamine effect for the people to say that you do something for me. I see that people are taking a lot of time watching the videos. I see that in the analytics that you're watching a lot of the video, so that makes me really happy. That's why I'm trying to go a little bit more into detail today on a Sunday, because I'd like to try and keep the videos kind of as short as possible, or Monday to Friday, and then Sunday I can go a little bit more in depth with it. So with that said, thank you very much for watching, and if you've got anything that you want me to specifically talk about that's directly related to Bitcoin price analysis, then feel free to put it in the comment section down below. If not, then just thank you very much, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Now, unless there is like this massive move today, I won't be making another video, and a massive move would mean that anything that we just talked about today in this video, if we breach this zone, or even come near this zone up here in the space of say a couple of candles, like 4-hour candles, then I will make another video today. Otherwise, if we just do this continuous sideways motion, there's just no point, because I'll be repeating myself, and you could just rewatch this video and yesterday's video. All right, so that's it done. Now I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao, bye bye.